12 lessons from 12 years of marriage. Lesson number one.
So lesson number one, I think, is one of the most foundational important lessons that we've learned. It's without deliverance, marriage cannot last. And I know me personally, and I've shared my testimony before, I've experienced that. When we got married, I started struggling with some demonic issues and some personal things that I have not resolved, and that affected our marriage. You want it or not, those things affect the marriage. You have to get healed, and you also have to receive deliverance so your marriage can thrive, so the relationship doesn't suffer.
And I think that every demon slayer will agree, every person who knows that we believe not only in the ministry of deliverance, because of deliverance, we are here today. If it wouldn't be for deliverance, I truly believe that pornography for me before getting married would have destroyed our marriage. And then the spirit of loneliness that was attacking my wife when we got married, it was a generational curse. It made our marriage very, very painful, very difficult first 2 years. And it wasn't just the irreconcilable differences, it was spiritual, it was demonic. And so I believe that freedom is the foundation of lasting marriage. Come on, somebody, drop that in the chat. Freedom is the foundation of lasting marriage. One of the quotes that we like to say is that marriage is like a beautiful garden from which we have to pull weeds, plant seeds, and kill
the snakes.
Come
on.
And so a lot of people, what they're doing is instead of fighting the snake, they're fighting their spouse. Instead of attacking the problem, what they're doing is they're attacking the person. And so we have to understand that without deliverance, without experiencing deliverance, we cannot walk in a marriage that brings joy and brings peace. The Bible says in Song of Solomon chapter 2 verse 15, "Catch us the foxes, little foxes that spoil the vine, for our vines have tender grapes." And those little foxes, are those demons a lot of times, generational curses. And they plant thoughts and words even within people and feelings.
Emotions.
One of those main demons is the spirit spouse, where people have actually a spouse that sleeps with them in the dream, and it's a demon. And it causes them to have no affection. It causes them to have fights. And without deliverance, they cannot walk in freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's easier to ignore that and blame your spouse for certain things. But we have to recognize that the enemy, he's unseen. We cannot see him, but he is there. When we recognize that, we begin to understand the spiritual world, that it's real. It's more real than we can think of. And that's why we have to attack the snake, not our spouse.
Another thing that I would highlight when concerning spiritual warfare in marriage is that after you experience deliverance, whether it's an incubus, succubus, whether it's a generational curse, that you have to also not give in to the enemy's lies by planting thoughts that are not your thoughts. They are, I believe, demonic thoughts. Like, I've made a mistake. I should have married somebody else. I am miserable. I have to leave this marriage before it's too late. And then when we begin to vocalize these demonic thoughts, they will take root in our mind. And then we begin to, if we don't vocalize these thoughts, but we abort them, they are demonically planted. Then, people begin to actually, when they don't abort these thoughts, they begin to release words like divorce. Like they threaten each other with divorce, and they don't realize they actually open doors to demons. And then demons, they begin to ruin their marriage and ruin their life, and they're actually destroying with their words, what they're building with their hands. And I think that for us, we went through our trial, especially the first few years. It's always helpful when one person is delivered, because they could help the other person to walk in freedom. I feel really bad for people who are both having demons, and both of your demons don't like each other. That's really, really, really disappointing. What can somebody do, what you've experienced, what can somebody do if their spouse is demonized and they're living with a demonized spouse? What can they do from your end? What helped you to find freedom and deliverance?
I think in our case, I think I was tormented at that point more, and you were walking in freedom in this area. And what helped me is, I think the most important thing is for a spouse not to take it personally. As soon as you're gonna start taking things personally, this is when the devil got you on a hook, and he's after to destroy a relationship. It's always better to see your spouse as a good person fighting something bad, rather than she is a bad person and she just happens to have good moments. And that is so huge. And I remember that you know how you helped me so much through my struggles. You just decided that you're gonna see me as a good, you're gonna help me and not take it personally. When I was even like attacking you in a sense, I was feeling lonely and I was portraying that on him. I was feeling rejected and all of those demonic things. But it was so nice that you did not take that personally. You did not see me and attacked me back, you know, but you actually helped me to snap out, and you understood that, hey, this is not her, this is something demonic, and you're gonna attack that demon that is tormenting me, not me.
I feel like because of spiritual warfare, it helps you so much, helps a person so much to actually affirm the person and attack the problem.
Yeah.
Come on, somebody, drop that in the chat. Spiritual warfare helps you to affirm the person and attack the problem. When you don't have a spiritual warfare mentality, you actually will attack the person and affirm the problem. That's good preaching right there.
Yeah.
You will affirm the problem. You will clear the spider web, but you will not kill the spider. And so I think for me, when I got the revelation,
it was not like that from the beginning.
No, I struggled. In the beginning, I was like, what the heck, you know, what is going on with me? I don't deserve this, you know, my marriage is supposed to be a blessing. I waited for this long, and, you know, I didn't get married so I can be trained in spiritual warfare. You know, I got married so I can have, you know, sex and good life, and I don't know. I mean, you know, I was single, so forgive me for thinking fleshly thoughts, but I definitely wasn't thinking spiritual warfare. And I think that, you know, the spiritual warfare is what really, I would say that the idea of the spiritual warfare helped me to control my feelings in regards to when I wanted to like lash out to say, hey, you know what, no, this is a God's child, she's being tormented, she's being harassed, and because I came alongside you in this battle, instead of fighting you, I fought with you. I think we start change.
It helped. Yeah, absolutely.